friends, welcome to Meals with Maria. Today I have poor man's meals for you. And I'm always looking for different recipes to make and different things to show you on this channel, different things to feed my family that are usually very inexpensive. And I come across these lists and some of them are like what grandma made or Great Depression meals, and all those things are great. You'll probably see some in an upcoming video, so let me know what you want to see in the comments below. As always, I am totally into ideas of yours. But I've also seen lists of poor man's meals, so I thought this would be really fun. Let's look at what these poor man meals are, and not to say that any of us are poor, but hey, maybe we're just being frugal, so we're gonna eat like a poor man. And let me tell you, there's some really good ideas in here. Also, very cheap stuff, so the food is really good, and it's a great way to take a twist on something that may be more expensive depending on what ingredients you have, and then make it a lot less expensive. And at the same time, I'm cooking from my pantry, so it's all based on what I have on hand. So some of the things actually may be even a better ingredient, but it's what I had. So I actually feel like in the long term, I'm saving money because I'm always getting things on sale, stocking up, and then using that ingredient versus going out and shopping for a specific meal. So these turned out great, and I'm excited to share them with you. The first recipe I'm gonna make is a poor man's lasagna. Now, this uses a penne pasta instead of a lasagna noodle, and I think that that's one of the reasons why it's considered a budget meal. A regular penne or rigatoni will go on sale for down to like 33 cents a box, where lasagna noodles are usually not included in that, so they're usually more expensive. Then I'm gonna brown up a pound of ground beef or ground turkey. Again, if you have ground turkey on hand or you got it on sale or you can get it for $2.20 at Walmart, that's a lot cheaper than a ground beef. And this is the perfect recipe to switch that up with because it's in a casserole anyway, so you can't really taste the flavor difference. As a sub for ricotta in this, you're using 16 ounces of cottage cheese and 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. And then you want to mix that into your cooked penne. Now, unfortunately, I missed getting that on camera because sometimes that happens. It's just real life. You want to layer a 9x13 pan with half of this pasta mixture, half of your meat mixture, and half of a 24-ounce can of pasta sauce. You can get pasta sauce for as cheap as 84 cents at Walmart these days, so you can make this pretty inexpensive. I also found that with a regular lasagna, you're using 2 to 3 times that amount of pasta sauce. And in this, you don't need quite as much, and it still turned out really, really good. Then you want to repeat these same 3 steps with the remaining pasta, meat, and sauce, and then top this with 1.5 cups of shredded mozzarella. I did take a look at some lasagna recipes to compare in the amount of ingredients and prices, and a lot of lasagna recipes are looking for up to 2 pounds of mozzarella, 2 pounds of ground beef or sausage, 2 to 3 jars of marinara sauce. So I felt like, I mean, yes, it's less, there's less going on here, but I felt like to fill the same area, we spent a lot less money and there were just a lot less ingredients. You do want to bake this at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. This is also a great make ahead or freeze ahead meal. It is super easy to just make and pop in your refrigerator and then pop it in the oven later. I feel like this had all the flavors and all the goodness of lasagna without the cost. I will be making this in the future for sure. Like, this was a huge hit in my house and I just loved it. This next recipe is called Poor Man's Chicken Salad. Now this one really intrigued me because if you can see those saltines off to the side, those are the secret ingredient. I had some leftover chicken from some drumsticks, so I just cut the chicken off of there. The recipe says you can use a can of chicken or you can use a whole chicken and shred it. That was kind of fascinating to me because I felt like a can of chicken versus a whole chicken is a big difference in the amount of chicken. So I think this recipe is pretty loose, which is totally fine by me. Then you want to take some dill pickles and cut them into chunks. This is going to depend on how much you love pickles and how many you want to put in. So again, this recipe is very, very much up to the creator of the chicken salad. So I love pickles, so I put quite a bunch in there, and I don't think I'd recommend putting any more. That's about 2 cups of chicken and probably about 1/4 cup of diced pickles. Now you also want to add in 1 sleeve of crushed saltines. And now, because I hadn't made this recipe before and it really wasn't clear how much chicken I should be using and pickles, I did decide to use half a sleeve of saltines just to stay on the safe side. If I were to do it in the future, I might add the whole sleeve because why not? It turned out great with those, so I just wasn't sure. Were these going to be soggy saltines? Were they going to be crunchy? What was it going to taste like? It was a surprise. The saltines actually act like a great filler for this chicken salad and make it seem like there's more salad or more chicken when maybe there isn't. And I think that's the kind of poor man's part of it, is add in those saltines to bulk it up. But it really is fabulous. Like, you would never know that that was saltines in there. And I even read in the recipe, the woman said, oh, I've made this a million times and no one has ever questioned the saltines. No one's ever asked what was going on there. The recipe itself calls for 1 cup of mayonnaise, and it says you can do it to your liking, so it totally depends. I like a mayonnaise-y chicken salad myself, but a little bit will do you good if that's what you want to do. I think you could even do like a little olive oil, salt and pepper, whatever floats your boat for your chicken salad, you can add here. Even like a little mustard would be totally fine too. Now the final addition to this is 2 hard-boiled eggs, and mine were actually like cooking while I was making the salad, so that's why they're going in last, but you can put them in at any point, and I have to peel them with one hand because the baby's in the other hand, but that's what we're doing today just to get this chicken salad going. Overall, this recipe is awesome. It's a great way to stretch chicken that you already have. Kind of interesting too, because it's kind of a mix between almost like a chicken salad and an egg salad, but really for the most part it tastes like a chicken salad, and the saltines are just a great sub and way to bulk it up. The next recipe is for a poor man's beef stroganoff. So like I said, I'm going to use ingredients that I have on hand, so they may not be the least expensive of the ingredients or options that are in the recipe, but I had some mushrooms, I had some bacon. The recipe calls for turkey bacon, which is definitely a lot less expensive. Then I had a pound of ground beef, but you could also use ground turkey in this, same idea as with the lasagna. Then you could use a beef bouillon cube versus beef broth, sour cream, onion, and mushrooms. You could use canned mushrooms, you could use dried mushrooms. Both of those would work fine in this as well. And as always, you could sub out your fresh onion and fresh garlic for onion powder and garlic powder. All of those things are still going to make a delicious stroganoff. I'm just starting off by adding a couple tablespoons of olive oil to my pan. Now you can use whatever oil that you have, and if you're using a turkey bacon, you definitely want to put that oil in there. Once I got thinking about it, using a full fat bacon like this, I'm not sure that I needed the oil in the bottom of the pan, so that could have saved me a few cents using an ingredient that I didn't need, because I was going to get plenty of fat rendered off of that bacon. So kind of all depends on what you have. I also think that if you had like a sliced ham, that would work fine here as well. You're going to want about 6 ounces of whatever meat that you do choose, and then you want to cook that until it's crispy. Another choice would be pancetta. I mean, that's going to be a little bit more expensive, I'm pretty sure, but hey, if you have it on hand, go ahead and use that. I also have a pot of water starting to boil on my stove because I am going to cook some egg noodles in that pot. I'm just going to cook them according to the instructions because I'm going to serve the stroganoff over egg noodles. You could also do this over mashed potatoes. You could make your own. You could use instant. Either one of those things is going to be fine. Rice is also a good choice. Then I have about 8 ounces of fresh mushrooms. Like I said, you could use canned, you could use dried. Either of those things will be just fine. And I'm cooking those right inside of my oil or bacon fat. I did put the bacon off to the side in a bowl with a little paper towel to soak up the fat. Cook your mushrooms, stirring occasionally for about a minute, and then we're going to add a little bit of salt, just a pinch. And now that my water's boiling, I'm just going to add in my egg noodles, and like I said, just follow the instructions on the package. You want to cook your mushrooms until they are soft and have given up most of their juices, and then add them to the same plate that you have the bacon on.
He doesn't know right now. Don't laugh.
Add your beef or turkey to the same pan, and we're going to also add in 1 diced onion as well as 2 cloves of minced garlic and salt and pepper. Here is also where you could probably sub out about a teaspoon of onion powder and a teaspoon of garlic powder. Cook until your meat is mostly browned, and then you can drain off any extra grease if you feel like there's a lot there. I actually didn't see a lot of grease on mine, so I opted not to because I knew that I was adding in some flour and some tomato paste. So you want to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and a 1/4 cup of flour once your meat has browned. and mix that really well together. Now, if you don't have tomato paste, no worries. I have come into that situation before, and I'll just add like 3 tablespoons of marinara instead, and the flavor is there. It turns out fine. It's a pretty good substitute. Once everything is well mixed, you can add in 1 cup of beef broth, or you can use a beef bouillon cube with 1 cup of water. That would be absolutely fine in this dish. And in a pinch, a cup of water with salt will always do too. You want to bring this to a boil and let it simmer for 3 to 5 minutes until your mixture thickens. Then you want to add in 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. You want to cook this for a few minutes until your flavors blend, and then you can add the mushrooms and the bacon back to the skillet. Remove this from the heat and stir in 1 cup of sour cream. You want to serve this over the egg noodles, rice, or mashed potatoes that you have, and oh my goodness, what a flavorful dish. This is absolutely phenomenal. I think it would taste great with turkey bacon and ground turkey to save some more money. This is a substitute, I guess, for original Stroganoff recipe that I was looking up to figure out, okay, how does this, why is this a poor man's recipe? Usually you use a sirloin steak. So it's totally fine without sirloin. It is delicious as it is like this, and we actually had tons of leftovers. So this is the last recipe for this video. I hope you enjoyed some poor man's meals and got some ideas for your family. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't already so you don't miss any of the budget video fun that is coming up, because I'm posting 3 times a week. I want to thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.
Like you.